Mike Craven here with Dana Holgorsen, head coach of the University of Houston. Coach, we've talked about kind of the caffeine intake before for a day like this that's going to start really early and go really long. Kind of what's the strategy to get through the day?
I actually went to Starbucks on my own this morning and got a Americano at 6:30 in the morning, and then got a couple more cups of coffee here. I'm about due for a Red Bull. It's getting about that time of the day for a Red Bull to keep me going.
Somebody wanted me to ask you, what is the most Red Bulls you've ever drinking in a single day?
It's a lot. I don't do it very much anymore, but game days has been upwards of 12. It's not healthy, and I shouldn't do it very much, which I don't. But there's been days.
You know, back in the Big 12, you've obviously coached in this conference for a long time. I think you said 17 years earlier. You see friends like Sonny and old faces that you've seen. Kind of what excites you most about what's about to happen for the University of Houston football team?
Oh, well, just everything. You know, I mean, the competition, the events. I mean, look at this, where we're at with the media days. You know, it's just, you know, when you're not in a Power 5 conference, you don't get to experience stuff like this. I told my guys, you know, I got, you know, Pat Paul's a fifth-year guy, Jack Freeman a sixth-year guy, Hassan Hippolyte's a sixth-year guy, Nelson Caesar's a fifth-year guy. I'm like, what y'all are about to experience today, you've never experienced. You know, the game day stuff, like when, you know, last year we were at Texas Tech, incredible experience. That's going to happen every week. You know, now it's going to happen at TDU ECU Stadium. And so, you know, that's just the refreshing thing about being in a Power 5 conference is this is the way it is, you know, so get used to it. This is football at its highest level.
How different is this conference, whether it be just the parity or just the way the offenses and defenses run? How different is it than the last time you were in the conference?
Well, I mean, football is still football, and you approach it the same way. It's just there's no weak links. I mean, you got to get ready to go every single day. The competition's harder, you know, and it's harder each and every week. I'd like to think our team is a little different too. You know, we've brought in 42 new guys, knowing what that schedule is going to be like this year. So I think we're more equipped to handle it, but it's just every week, you know, and you can't use an excuse if you don't have your starting quarterback or you don't have your starting defensive end. What those backups are matter, and they got to be able to play at a high level too.
You don't have Clayton Tune anymore, obviously. You know, a couple of guys competing for the job. What is going to be the determining factors for who wins that job? What are you looking for the most?
Obviously, performance and practice is where it comes down. I think Donovan's kind of got a little bit of an upper hand right now, just based on the fact that he's played 21 games at this level. You know, he's been in the Big 12 conference for 3 years. He's started 21 games or played in 21 games. So he's not going to be wide-eyed. He's going to be just fine. It's like I said, though. You know, Lucas Coley, I'm proud of how he's competing, and he needs to keep on keeping on. He's going to get as many reps as he can. If he separates himself, he'll be our guy. You're going to need both at the end of the day, and we need both of them to continue to improve and continue to get better.
You mentioned the 42 new players. This obviously isn't just a Houston thing, but like, how do you go about integrating so many new guys with the transfer portal and them getting there late and stuff? Like, how soon will you know what your team looks like? Will it be not until week 1, or do you think you'll get a good feel before that?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to it. You know, I wish we could change rules. The NCAA doesn't listen to coaches, but we need to change rules. I mean, we're wasting a lot of time in spring coaching what's about half your team. You know, so we need to change rules and give us more time in June and July. Maybe even more time in camp prior to our first game, because we only have a certain amount of time and a certain amount of rules to be able to figure that out, and I don't think it's enough time.
You know, you and I have kind of talked about it a little bit, but, you know, you kind of became a Houston guy because Mike Leach sent you there to recruit. Sonny Dykes became a Dallas guy because Mike Leach sent him there to recruit. Y'all are going to play to get, you know, week 3, the first game for Houston in the Big 12. What's that going to be like?
Well, we had a trial run a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. You know, in 2019 and 2021, we had a trial run. Both games were in Houston, and now TCU's got to come to Houston again. So Sonny's like, "Gosh dang, man, that's 3 in a row." So we had a couple of trial runs. You know, it's going to be great. You know, the Big 12 homecoming stuff is going to be there, and it's going to be a week-long celebration. I can assure you I ain't celebrating anything. I'm going to have my head down trying to get our team ready to go. Prior to that, I'm all worried and focused on UTSA, who's a heck of a football team, well coached, used to winning, and then we got Rice after that. So there's some things I got to tend to prior to this whole Big 12 thing.
Because I've always been curious, like how coaches approach that. This isn't your first friend you've ever coached before. I mean, do you not talk that week? Do you go out to dinner the night before? How does that work between two friends like that before you go into a football game?
No, you completely ignore each other, and then you go to the pregame awkward handshake, and you go out there and you act like you want to talk, and you shake each other's hands. And you're like, "Hey, how's the fam doing?" And we do that for about a minute, so they can get you on camera, and then you say, "Okay, good luck," and you go to the sidelines, and you completely forget who's on the other side.
I know you've been asked this about 50 times today. Before we let you out of here, we got to ask: what are the expectations for the Houston Cougars in 2023?
Oh, game one, compete. Compete and try to win. Game 2, compete and try to win, and then first game in the Big 12, compete and try to win. I'm just trying to get my team as good as we can get to the point to where we can compete and have a chance to win each week.
All right, sir. Appreciate you.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.